What's good, everybody? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the channel, An Outsider's Perspective. Kind of a bit of a little rebranding there after taking a bit of break from YouTube. I've been doing some soul searching. I want to be making videos, that makes a bit more sense from a neutral perspective so that anybody that watches it, can actually learn something from it. And we can learn from each other, especially when you leave me comments in the comment section below. Now, having said all that, let's get straight into the order of the day. You guys, I'm back and let's talk. Anyways, there's this video one of my friends sent to me, I think 1 or 2 days ago, and he wanted me to do a reaction. He actually wanted me to talk about it, and I said, all right, I'll do a reaction to it on my video on my channel. It's about this woman from the US, and you guys know I love talking about the US. I love it because it's a fascinating country and it's a totally great country, right? It doesn't get enough praises for what it has done for the world because it's done a lot of things to the world as well. So, but anyways, you guys, that's not what we're here for. We're about to learn today from this American lady who I would assume is an American liberal, different from an Australian liberal, because I do know now that some Australians watch my channel. So liberals in Australia are conservative. They're totally different. Labor are more left-leaning. And when it comes to the US, liberals are more left-leaning, probably totally far left now. And, there is the moderate liberals who are now being seen as right-wingers. Anyway, so this lady is still a liberal in my own opinion because of certain things that she said in the video, is ranting about and going on an insane rant about, the oil gas prices. So without further ado, I want us to smash that like button down below and then let's get straight into this video now, shall we?
$98 to fill up the tank today. $98 $98. I have to decide between buying gas or buying food. And guess who wins? Because I have to get to the job that I need. I can't buy anything at all. That doesn't pay me enough. And people want to donate $1,000. That's $98 goddamn dollars at Costco to fill up my tank. $98. $5.50 a tank. $5.50 a gallon. At Costco, $5.50 a gallon at Costco. This is the work of the religious right. Listen to Robert Reich, who gives us all of the evidence about how our poverty is a choice that our government made for us. A CEO is not worth 351 times what I get paid. Ever. Fuck you, religious right, who are doing this and have been doing this to you profiteering companies. Fuck you billionaires, stealing us, breaking our backs, stealing from us, profiteering off of us. Let me repeat, I have to decide between buying food or gas. Guess which one wins?
All right, ladies, so let's get straight into everything that you've talked about. First of all, you're talking about cats and you're very pissed. And I want to say that I feel your pain. People pay money, donate to cats. Well, it's just something that happens and there's nothing much we can do about it. When it comes to animals, cats, I think they get the highest donation because I once read in an op-ed that 22% of the donations that go into charity foundation goes to animals. About 7% of that goes into cats. So cats actually get more donations than koalas or other endangered animals. It is what it is. You got to deal with it. But I feel your pain that people in these hard times are still thinking about donating to cats, where there are people like you who have to make decisions whether you buy fuel or you buy food. That's how bad it is right now from the description of what you're giving me. And many people have complained about that. Now let's get into the other side. You're complaining about religious rights. You're complaining about corporation. You're complaining about billionaires and whatnot. Like as if these people are responsible for the oil gas prices. Well, they are absolutely not. The reason why you're complaining about religious rights is it's a typical liberal thing to always complain about religious rights. Religious right has never influenced oil gas prices. What has happened with big corporations and religious right is that because of religious right, people have the right to celebrate, all sorts of holidays. When you talk about Christmas, New Year, Easter, Valentine's and whatnot, big corporations, they capitalize on this. And many leftist publications have criticized big corporations for capitalizing on that because they're using it to sell things like cars that guzzle a lot of fuel, that causes a lot of emissions. So they always think from one perspective and say that, no, these religious rights, because of their religious rights, these corporations are making money and also causing a lot of problems to the climate. But I want to wake you up to something. That exact same rights for religious right is the exact same rights that gay rights have. And we're right now in Pride Month. Guess what the big corporations are doing? They're capitalizing on Pride Month. So if you're going to criticize religious right and say F them, you also need to say F Pride Month as well, because it's the exact same thing. Take a look at all the big corporations. Everything going on, they are using Pride flag and Pride parade and Pride products to market so that they can make money off of what? Gay rights, off of LGBTQ rights. So it is double standards if you are insulting or if you are trying to go against religious rights and say F them, and you're not saying the same thing for LGBTQ rights, because what is good for the geese is good for the gander. Now, moving on to your next argument. You are blaming those things, and you mentioned Robert Reich, and Robert Reich is the reason why I know that you're a liberal, because Robert Reich is a liberal who has worked for many liberal government in the US. He's worked for Gerald Ford. He has worked for Jimmy Carter. He was also, I think, Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton. He was also part of Obama's cabinet. And while he was on Obama's cabinet, let's talk about that a little bit. What did he do under Obama? What did they do? What policies did they put in place that actually helped fuel prices go up or go down? Well, let's take a look at this chart here that actually tells us the story of fuel prices in America in the last 12 or 13 years or thereabouts. So as you can see, you guys, from that graph there, you can see Obama's time, fuel prices were higher, well more than Trump's time. And now under Biden, it's gone higher again. So what's the real problem here? What is actually causing the fuel prices to go up or go down or go up again? Well, it's policies. And the problem with a lot of people, not just in the US, across the world, is that people pay more attention to the politics that are being played rather than the policies, whether it favors them or not. So a whole lot of people out there, they don't like people like the Orange Man bad. Why? They don't like the Orange Man bad because the Orange Man bad seems to be a mean guy who sends mean tweets and says bad things like grab them by the pee, right? But what has that got to do with oil prices? What has that got to do with you being able to buy things like, food for your baby? What has that got to do with them not being able to find cereals? What have that got to do with them not being able to find baby formula? It's all about policies and not politics. And a whole lot of people pay attention to these policies, and it always seems good when it comes to policies, like the policies that they said, oh, we are going to fight climate change. So what you are complaining about now, you are complaining about the government. The thing is that you voted in that government. And to be fair to the current government, to be fair to Mr. Biden, he has lived up to everything that he promised. He did promise higher oil gas prices. And a lot of leftists, they praised him for it because they said if there are higher gas prices, people will stop buying gas and people will switch to electric cars. They also praised him that people will stop buying big cars that are guzzling a lot of fuel because they wouldn't be able to afford it, and this would be better for the climate. Now, the question is this: are these policies truly helping the climate? Europe can boast that they have cut down their emissions, right? They boast a lot, just like America is trying to cut down their emission, copying Europe and whatnot. They boast a lot that they've cut down their emission. But has the world emission cut down at all? No. Matter of fact, if you go and read some IEA reports, you will find out that the world's emission has doubled or even tripled in the last decade alone. Why is this? Because many of these countries, they virtue signal and they tell you that they've cut down their emission, but what really happens is that they've cut down their manufacturing, which reduces emission. But then they source it out to countries from the Middle East that are doing a lot of manufacturing, and those countries' emission goes up while their countries' emissions goes down. And what happens as a result of that globally? All the emissions are still what? Going up. So what are they doing? They are playing politics with you instead of you actually looking at if there will be real policies that would solve the problem. Now, every time I've had the discussion with people, most people would ask me, well, since there's nothing that can be done about this whole emission thing, should we do absolutely nothing about it? And I always tell them, no, there are more things that you can do. It is not eliminating the use of carbon fuel, because carbon fuel is the most efficient energy source we have at the moment. It's not eliminating it. It is producing it in the most emission-free way and transporting it in the most emission-free way. Now, Big Orange Man Bad actually thought about this and activated the Keystone Pipeline, right? He started the Keystone Pipeline, would have created jobs for 60,000 people. But what he would have also done for the environment was it would have been transporting fuel and oil and gas from Canada to America in a more efficient way. Matter of fact, the other options you had was to use rail, which actually causes 2.7 times more emission in transporting it using rail. And it is even worse when you use trucks. So when Mr. Biden shut down Keystone Pipeline, what he did was to increase emission by using trucks. And these trucks, they actually deliver and spill more than 13.707 tons of fuel while transporting this every single day. So think about this. You're causing more damage to the environment from the so-called climate change, New Green Deal policies that are supposed to be helping people, causing more detrimental problems. This is what you get. And now what's worse is this, just like I said, that Europeans, when they cut down manufacturing, they source it to the Middle East to produce more, or they source it to the Eastern countries to produce more, to fill up the gap for those things. So same thing goes for the Mr. President, has cut down the manufacturing or production of oil and gas, but flew to Saudi Arabia to go and ask them to produce more and transport it in tankers that actually causes, I think, about 8 tons of emission per hour to transport it from what? From Saudi Arabia to America, causing more emissions. So you can see that these climate change policies aren't helping at all. But now the gas prices is affecting people like this who were supporting it in the first instance. So who do you have to blame? I'm not going to blame the leaders that you voted for, because the leaders were frank about what they were trying to do. You guys just didn't sit back and look at all the repercussions that could happen from these policies. So who do you blame? You ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. And right now you look like you got egg on your face and you're eating a crow. And that's why you are pissed off and you're blaming everybody and you're using the word government rather than actually use the party or the name of the person. Because I guarantee you, if this was 3 years ago that this was happening, you would have said it was Trump's fault. But today you can't say it because you voted for what's causing the thing that you are ranting about. Rest my case. If you guys got something from this one, if you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, peace, and so I was out of here. Bye bye now.